Let's play Castle Ravenloft. This walkthrough can be used for any Dungeons & Dragons adventure board game. First, get out the cards and divide them up according to each type. Shuffle the monster, treasure, and encounter cards. Next, get out the adventure book, choose an adventure, and read through the instructions appropriate for that adventure. Next, choose the power cards, figure, and hero cards for each hero in the game. Each of the figures, including villains and monsters, have the name written on the bottom of the figure. The powers are found in your hero's power cards, and they are utility powers, daily powers, and at-will powers. Both daily powers and utility powers flip the card over after you use it, so you need to be careful when you use them. Certain treasure cards do allow you to flip a used daily power or utility card back over. The daily powers are the most powerful ones, and the utility ones are usually ones that you don't use during an attack, but at some other time. At-will powers are ones that are used most commonly, and you can reuse them each turn. The hero card shows you how many of each of the power cards your hero can use during an adventure. Select the appropriate power cards for each hero on level 1 of the hero card. If you've only played a few times, you can turn to the beginning of the adventure book, and it will tell you the best power cards to use. At the beginning of the game, each hero will start with a treasure item. Randomly draw treasure cards for each hero until each hero has an item, and reshuffle the other cards back into the treasure deck. Each hero has 4 special values. The armor class, which is the hero's defense. Hit points, which is really the hero's health. Speed, which is how many squares that the hero can move, and surge value. This is the health that the hero can gain after hit points have gone down to 0. Villains have 2 of these values, the armor class and hit points. Here's a quick note about hit points or health points. If you look at the sequence of play card, in the hero phase, the first step is if you have 0 hit points, use a healing surge token if one is available. Because of the way that rule is worded, it's easiest to just put all of your hit points on your hero's card at the beginning, and as it takes damage, you remove the hit points from the hero. When a hero suffers enough damage that they have lost all their hit points, they are knocked out. Turn the hero over on its side so that you know that it's knocked out. They will not take any more damage. If your hero has 0 hit points on their hero card at the beginning of a round, then you can spend a healing surge if one exists, and just add those hit points based upon the surge value to the hero's card. Set things up based upon the adventure instructions, and you're ready to play. Now give each player a sequence of play card and follow the instructions. Movement is determined by your speed. In the game, there are tiles, which is a square like this, and squares, the individual squares on a tile. Heroes can move up to the speed number of squares, so if a hero has a speed of 5, he can move 5 squares, including diagonally. Heroes can move through other heroes, but they cannot move through monsters or walls. Monsters and villains do not have speed. They move more generally, say from one tile to another tile. So when it says to place it adjacent to a hero, you can place it in any square that's adjacent to that hero. The basics of the gameplay is as follows. Your hero will move and try to attack a monster. If it defeats that monster, you gain a treasure card. That's called the hero phase. At the end of the hero phase, if you are near the edge of a tile, you go to the exploration phase. Otherwise, you go directly to the villain phase. If you are near the edge of a tile, you draw a dungeon tile and flip it over. Then you place it with the arrow facing your hero. You then draw a monster card, flip it over, and place the appropriate monster on the pile of rubble. Some tiles have coffins on them. They're treated just like normal squares unless the adventure says differently. Some tiles have a skull on them. They're used by special adventures such as Adventure 8, the Horror of the Howling Hag, and some online adventures. Back to the monsters. Whichever hero revealed the tile that spawned a new monster, they control the monster card. After the exploration phase is the villain phase. So if you placed a tile and drew a monster, then you will draw an encounter card if the triangle is black. If the triangle is white, you don't draw an encounter card, but instead, in some adventures, you may move a sun token. If your hero was not adjacent to the edge of a tile, and so you didn't explore, then you draw an encounter card and do whatever it says. Finally, if there's a villain in play, you activate the villain. Also, you then activate each monster that your hero controls. Here's the basics of combat. There is one single 20-sided die in the game. A character attacks by rolling the die and adding the result of that die to their attack value. If that value is greater than or equal to the AC of the character being attacked, the hit is successful. The amount of damage done is either specified on the monster card or on the power card of the hero. Disabling traps is a little bit different than fighting a monster. It doesn't have an armor class, so you do not add your attack value to the trap. Instead, you just have to roll a value larger than the disable number. If a monster is defeated, it is removed from the game, and the card associated with that monster is added to a resource pool of experience for the entire hero team. Those experience points can then later be used to either cancel an encounter card or level up a hero. It takes 5 experience points to cancel an encounter card, but that encounter card can only be canceled when it is drawn. You can use more than 5 experience points to cancel an encounter card, but you lose those extra experience points. All heroes start at level 1, but you can level up. In order to level up, you must roll a 20. Then, if you have 5 experience points, you can level up that hero. Flip over the hero card, and they become level 2. That's the basics for playing any Dungeons & Dragons adventure board game. The rest, such as the effect of specific tokens, are described either by reading on the token or the adventure itself. Finally, when playing the basic game of Dungeons & Dragons, you typically start with 2 healing surges. To make the game more difficult, remove some of those healing surges. To make the game easier, add more healing surges to your party. I hope you've enjoyed that. Enjoy!